So friends, a very eminent psychiatrist, Elisabeth Kübler-Ross, who has done extensive research on grieving, death and dying, and life and living, she has come to the observation that there are basically two primary emotions, which are love and fear. And all our other emotions, they stem either from love or fear. So from love flows joy and happiness and contentment and peace and serenity. On the other hand, from fear flows emotions like anger or hatred or guilt or remorse, the kind of emotions that are rooted into fears and insecurities. There are several fears that operate within us, the human beings. For example, the fear of rejection, the fear of abandonment, the fear of not being good enough, fear of us not meeting someone's expectations, fear of illness, fear of loss, fear of death. It is when we operate from the space of our fears that we choose emotions like anger or anxiety or guilt or other fear-based emotions. But the fact is, these fears are not who we are. These fears are the result of our fetal and childhood conditionings. Some fears we may have carried from previous lifetimes as well. As spirit beings, our essence is love. And the more we connect with our essence of who we are as spiritual beings, and the more we operate from this center of who we are, the space of love that we are, the more we are able to heal and transcend the fears in our life. And while it is true that there are only two primary emotions, love and fear, but it is more accurate to say that there is either only love or fear, for we cannot feel these two emotions together at exactly the same time. They are just the opposites, like two sides of the same coin, or just like light and dark. So light and dark cannot coexist. Similarly, love and fear cannot exist together at the same time. So if we are in fear, we are not in a place of love. When we are in a place of love, we cannot be in a place of fear. And we have to make a decision to be in one place or the other, to be in a place of love or to be in a place of fear. And if we don't actively choose love, we will find ourselves in a place of fear or one of its component feelings. Every moment in our life offers the choice to choose one or the other, love or fear, and we really cannot choose not to choose. We are choosing every minute. This reminds me of a very famous quote by Viktor Frankl, which says that between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and freedom. So friends, each time you face a challenging situation or a trigger or a difficult circumstance, and you are inclined to think, behave or act in a particular way, just take a pause and reflect. What am I choosing here? What choices do I have? Can I make a choice from the space of love instead of making a choice from the space of fear or my insecurities? Each time you have a tendency to judge someone or judge yourself, you have the freedom to choose compassion and acceptance instead of judgment and criticism. Each time you have the urge to control the events and outcomes in your life or someone else's life, or you go mad when you are unable to control things the way you want them to happen. So you have the freedom to choose allowance and surrender. Each time you are tempted to blame someone, you have the freedom to choose responsibility for what's happening in your life. Each time you have the urge to pull someone down, to claim your superiority, you have the freedom to choose benevolence and blessings, and you also have the freedom to lift others up. Each time you find yourself sinking into the despairs of uncertainty, you have the freedom to choose hope and optimism. I remember these words from Dr. Deepak Chopra that I read a couple of days back. The best use of imagination is creativity. The worst use of imagination is anxiety. You have the freedom to choose where you put your imagination into use. So friends, each time you choose a love-based response instead of a fear-based one, you take a leap in your evolution. Each time you choose to act from a space of love, you make the world a better place for yourself and for all others around you. Just as light dispels darkness, love dispels fear. When faced with challenges and conflicts and difficulties, please do remember that you have the freedom to choose your response, and you have the freedom to choose from a space of love.